This is a test, okay?
¿Cómo está?
Yo muy bien.
Yes,
Okay,
my
so
Spanish is very bad.
so today, okay, this is Nefroman. Welcome to my channel again. Today I'm with Tia Juanita. Hola, Tia Juanita.
Hola, ¿cómo
Welcome to
está?
my
Thank
house.
you.
Muy bien.
Thank you.
So this is the way it's gonna go, okay?
Okay.
So like that. Welcome back. This is Nefroman, and today I have the privilege to have Tia Juanita in my house, and like a surprise, she come over to my house for lunch. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having us. It was wonderful. Connie's a wonderful cook.
Thank you.
Privileged to be here.
Thank you. So we want to talk today. What we want to talk about today, it's about Tia Juanita story in Mexico.
Sí,
How do you like Mexico? How do you end
Sí.
up in Puerto Vallarta?
sí.
How do you like Mexicans and everything?
I love you.
So I met Tia Juanita about 25 years ago.
Sí, yeah.
Can you tell me do you recall? How
Oh,
we met?
exactly. It was wonderful. So my husband had a T-shirt on from our hometown,
Yes.
Yakima, Washington.
Yeah.
And you were one of the waiters in the restaurant, and your lovely wife Connie was waiting on my husband, and she was too shy to ask about the
Yeah, she's
about the
still-
Yakima, Washington T-shirt, and so she sent you, Mr. Gregarious, over there and asked. And so we became close friends.
Yes.
And have had a wonderful relationship for the 25
Yes.
years. I live now in Lake Chapala, and you were just there in
Yes,
December with
yes,
all of your
beautiful,
family.
beautiful.
Yes, it was wonderful.
Thank you for having me there too.
yes,
So
yes.
yeah, it was very interesting how our relationship developed, because I recall when I was here in PV my first days, I was surprised. I was amazed because my English was very bad in those days,
I don't
and
think so.
my culture also about people paying in dollars and people speaking English in my country, right? For me, it was very not good for me. It was like, why are you speaking English here in my country, right? We're in Mexico. Why you're paying with dollars, right? Well, you got to pay in pesos. So for me, it was not. In my head, it was like not good. I was like, I was proud of my country. What are you guys paying with dollars, right? But then I understand in my mind still, like we're opening a little bit, so
Sí.
I can understand how the economy works here and why everybody loves Puerto Vallarta.
It's beautiful, beautiful city, beautiful people, beautiful culture, and of course the playa, the beach. How can you
Yeah, it's
miss out?
beautiful,
That's wonderful.
beautiful.
Yes.
So, Tia Juanita, your first time in Mexico.
1982, we came here, my husband and I, we got a free trip, frankly.
Why not?
And so we ended up here and fell in love. And so in 1986, 4 years later, we bought a little condo right across from the beach. And I worked at the college, so I would take winter quarter off. We would come for about 16 weeks a
Nice.
year. My husband had a little bit of flexibility with his job, and we would come to Mexico for 16 weeks every year. And loved Puerto Vallarta, loved being here. And then we had a great opportunity to, that we owned also a timeshare. So we could go across the street and use their pool in the playa,
Wow.
because we had a small pool, but no playas, no beach. So it was a great opportunity to be here. And so we sold that in 2000, and but we've owned property in Manzanillo, and we purchased 3 homes in Lakeside, Lake Chapala, and then San Luis Potosi. So we've actually owned a lot of property. People are always surprised
Yeah.
about how we've earned, had so many properties in Mexico.
So people out there, if they're worried about, do we really own a property in Mexico?
Good question, Left. So if you purchase a property in Mexico, and correct me if I'm wrong, but 50 miles from the border, 50 miles from the sea,
Kilometers. We use
kilometers. I'm sorry.
That's
yeah, okay. And so they want to protect their borders, and so you have to put your deed. You still get a deed, but your deed goes into a bank trust, and Neff can tell you more about that. but basically the bank holds the deed for you, and you pay a yearly fee to do that. Now, where we are now, we're in the center of Mexico, close to Guadalajara, and we actually hold our own deeds because we're in the middle, so it doesn't matter. But if you do own here at the beach, both when we owned in Manzanillo and here, we had to have it in a bank trust.
Yeah, it was hard for you, first of all, to like in your mind, like, why I'm going to get a deed to the bank? Why I'm going to have the trust? It was like difficult for you because a lot of people ask me like, why do we have to use that? The reason is we want to protect our borders, like you
Yes,
say, right?
exactly.
So 50 kilometers. So if you are in the center of the country, you're a regular
Exactly.
Mexican. You
Right.
get your deed, right?
Right.
But for a lot of people, it's like they're afraid of it.
No, there's nothing to be afraid about. It's not like the bank's going to take your house or your condo, whichever you purchase. It's just the way that the Mexican government can protect themselves and you, quite frankly. Quite frankly,
Yeah, it is.
you
It
too.
is.
It's
It
a
is.
protection for us.
Yes, yes. It's actually that's the way I see
Yes.
it. And
Yes.
you've been owning different places,
Sí.
and here in Puerto Vallarta, you just mentioned it. Also, Manzanillo,
Sí.
Chapala, and
Sí.
also San Luis Potosí. So you basically deal with three different states into
Exactly.
Mexico.
That's right. You're right.
It was like hard. It was like difficult. It was like the
No,
process.
no. And you weren't our agent at the time,
No.
but we had great agents that walked us through the process.
Exactly.
And knowing you, Neft, I know that you're very trustworthy, you're a
Thank you.
very hard worker,
Thank
and
you.
very diligent about what you do. So I would definitely trust you if I was going to buy another property
Thank
here
you.
to walk you through the process, because even in the United States or Canada, I'm sure the first time I ever bought a property in the United States, it was scary. You know, that was scary.
I bet it was
yeah,
scary.
so it's just nice to have an agent to walk you through the process, hold your hand, and assure you of everything, every step that you're
Exactly,
taking.
yeah. That's what we recommend every time we talk about buying real estate in Mexico. Get with somebody that knows the steps. Get to somebody that knows the process. So the best way to go is get to an agent, right? Right now we have different, I will say license now because we work through AMPI, which is the Association for Real Estate
Okay.
Agents. And I would recommend find somebody that belongs to AMPI.
Yes.
It's spelled
Yes.
AMPI, and Puerto Vallarta. It's really focused on get everybody into AMPI, so everybody works in the same way, using the same ethic, and they are professional. And what we do, it's like we like to protect, or we want to protect the customers.
Yes.
We want to protect the sellers, the buyers, and we want to help you out with the whole process, so the process can be easy for you
Yes.
acquiring a property. So a lot of people is scared of Mexico and the
No,
process and the
no
whole
need
thing.
to be
I just
afraid.
have a call, like you noticed, like 15 minutes ago.
Right.
A client from the States called me like, how is the crime in Puerto Vallarta?
Oh, okay.
What do
There's
you say?
There is a actually crime app that you can put in your city. So you put in Puerto Vallarta and you compare it to where you live. So I'm from Yakima, Washington, and I would put in Puerto Vallarta versus Yakima. Now Yakima has the highest drugs, the highest killings. So the crime, what I see, all the places I've been living in Mexico, I've never been afraid. Never been
Nice.
afraid.
I-
I have to tell you, I was in Mexico City once and I was afraid there just because the city's so big, but I think I would be
Yeah.
in New York. I've never been to New York.
Yeah.
I do want to interject. I sold real estate in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. And so there's different rules in the United States in
Yes.
order to be an agent. When we first came down here, I didn't know that the agents were not licensed. They could have just be salesmen, you
Yeah.
know, shoe salesmen, and okay, now I'm going to sell houses. So please listen to Neft if you are considering buying a property. You do need an agent that is knowledgeable
Yeah.
and has the credentials, because if there's a lien on the property, it's not like it goes through escrow like in the United States. So there's really sometimes not as much protection. Also, there's Indian land, and this is where I live now. A lot of people will sell you land, but it's owned by the
like the state, like
yes, yes,
You're talking about the ejidos.
Ejidos.
Yes, the
Ejido
ejidos.
land. So anyway, the whole point of that is that it's very important now to make sure that your agent is knowledgeable, licensed, and
Yes.
credible.
Yeah, actually, we NAMPI, or everybody in Puerto Vallarta and the whole Bay, we have or Flex MLS, right? And every listing that is sent on Flex MLS, it has to be already taken care. So everybody, we cannot publish anything that has a lien or not
Yes.
disclosed that it has a
Okay.
lien, because probably a lien can be somebody still paying a mortgage,
Yes,
right? But
exactly.
it's disclosed, and they can be
Yes.
paid before
Right.
it get to somebody else. But everything has to be very, very clear for you protection
Exactly.
and the protection of the seller.
important.
So be very, very careful to go with the agent and feel comfortable with them, because they know the steps to get to the process of you purchasing the property here. So since you've been to Mexico buying properties here and
Yes.
there, how do you like the food in Mexico?
Connie's a great cook.
We just have a great lunch. And
Yeah,
it
we had
was
a great lunch.
awesome.
It was
Yeah, It was
awesome.
awesome.
The
Yeah.
one thing I will say is that when you come to a foreign country, you're going to get a tourist visa. And that will allow you into the country for 180 days, 6 months. And then you have to either leave and come back, or so it's a problem. If you want to own property down here and you want to bring a US or Canadian
Yeah.
car, you probably want to just have your temporal visa. One thing you need to know is you need to start that process in the United States with your consulate. You do need to know that each consulate requires a different amount. Now, what that means is that you have to show bank records for 6 months. And like I said, depending on the consulate that you work with, and I would suggest calling. If you live in Texas, okay, call Dallas, call Fort Worth, all of the consulates there. And what is a consulate? Well, so I would describe a consulate as that this is a diplomatic office. This is where you get your passport and your visas, also work with some other issues. So this is a very important government office.
Yeah, government office. That was the word you're
So,
looking for.
yeah, so it's very important that you start the process in the United States. I'm sorry, I don't know Canada, but you need to start that process. And then when you come down here, you need to work with an immigration lawyer that will walk you through the rest of the process, and they'll take your fingerprints, they'll take your picture, and I should have brought mine, but I have a document, a little card, like a little credit card, and it shows that I'm a permanent resident. That means I don't need to leave Mexico. Now I can't vote here, I'm not allowed to vote. Now isn't that interesting? Okay, we won't get into politics. But it does allow me to stay where I don't have to leave
Yep,
Mexico
yeah.
in the 180 days. Now, when I came down, I came from Arizona originally, and so I went to Phoenix, got my consulate, got everything started, took them all my documents, showed them that yes, I could pay. I can take care of myself. Like the Mexican government I'm not gonna go on welfare here.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, you better.
So that's what they want to make sure, that you've got income and that you are going to be able to take care of yourself. And then when I got down here, I chose to do a temporal.
Yep.
Now a temporal, I had a fairly new car, so I wanted to bring that. That was a U.S. plated, Arizona plated car, and I wanted to bring it in. Now, in order to bring a car in, you can have a temporary, what they call a temporal,
So you can
a
put
temporal visa.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm sorry, you're probably gonna have to edit that out.
It's
'cause
okay,
I'm
don't worry about it.
Okay, so anyway, so then what that allows is that you can leave your U.S. plated car and drive for 4 years in Mexico with that visa. Now, I do have to tell you, after 4 years, you either have to nationalize the car, and Neff could probably help you with that. But if some cars aren't made or manufactured in Mexico, it's harder to get them nationalized here. It can be kind of expensive. I chose to trade cars. My friend was going back to Colorado, and so she took my car, I took her
Hers.
Jalisco
Wow,
plated.
that was easy.
We are in the state of Jalisco here in Puerto Vallarta. I chose to take her car, and it was just a swap. Because after the temporal it turns into a permanente.
Yes.
It rolls over. There's not very much paperwork after that. Once you get your temporal, it just rolls easily into the permanente. But that was just because I wanted to bring my car. If you don't want to bring your car and you don't want the big hassle, then just get your permanente, and then you can come and go here. Like if you want to spend 4 months here, like my husband and I do, then that's what you would do, is just have your permanente, and you can come and go as you like, and you don't have to
Yeah.
worry about the visa.
Yeah. So, and then if you don't want to bring a car or whatever,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
here for a couple months, 4
Oh, it's
months.
perfect.
It's easy because there's a lot of
Oh,
taxis, Uber,
oh,
all
yeah.
the apps, and it's easy.
Easy to get around
yeah.
here in this city, for sure.
When you're here, back in the days, probably, I don't know.
I didn't bring a car for I didn't bring a car until 2019.
Yeah.
We've been coming since
The-
1982. So yeah.
Do you notice that when you start coming to Mexico City, and now less people speak English back in those days? Now there's more
Oh,
people
yes.
speaking English,
Oh, yeah,
right?
yes,
How do you
yes.
feel now when people try to come down here? I always tell them that don't be afraid, because a lot of people here in Puerto Vallarta speak English.
Oh, it's kind of sad. You don't need to learn or know Spanish. So I've been coming for how many years? And Neff will tell you, my Spanish is very bad. I try really hard because I think it's important that I live here. I want to speak the language, but sometimes my tongue does not roll those R's. So, yeah, but I do try, but you don't need to speak Spanish. There's so many people, just like Neff and his wife, lovely wife, Connie, speak perfect English. And so you're totally comfortable. You can ask questions, you can get around, you don't feel like you're lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yes, it's totally comfortable.
Yeah. Also, they were asking me about what happened if I got sick? Is there hospitals?
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
The wonderful. The healthcare we already know is an issue in the United States and definitely in Canada. But I feel that we have great doctors here. We have great facilities. We have just amazing. And what I would pay for even my copay, I got sick in January. I saw a doctor 3 times. To see the doctor is $45. She gave me a shot. She gave me prescriptions. What else? So, I mean, $45 for all of that. And I did a thorough workup, did the labs, everything. So it's very reasonable. It's not like people say, do I need to get insurance? No. It's probably not going to cover you if you get cancer.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. But if you have any other issues, you're going to be fine.
Yeah, I know.
It's wonderful.
It is wonderful. Also,
And I have to tell you, the doctors all speak English.
Oh, yeah.
That I've been to. Now, some of the nurses in the hospital, maybe not, but you can always use your Google Translator if there's any issue. So all the docs speak wonderful English, and they are very good at explaining what's going on. I've lived permanently at Lake Chapala, not just coming down here a couple months a year, but for almost 6 years now.
Wow.
So permanently. And I go home to see my son for about 1 week out of the year.
Muy bien. Very good. Yeah, I love being around Chapala, and I go to your house, and you had a beautiful property. So I love it. I love it. Lake Chapala is also one of my favorite places. It's so beautiful. The weather over there is just great. And maybe you don't have everything in Lake Chapala, but you have
We don't have the
Guadalajara.
beach.
Yeah, but you have Guadalajara. Guadalajara has, I mean, it's a big city and you have everything over there
Yes,
too.
yes.
The
Lots
airport
of,
from Chapala, it's about
yes.
40 minutes.
40 minutes to my house. So it's an international airport, and so if I do need to get to my son quickly, I'm there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
my sister's husband died, and I was out in a couple of hours.
Yeah.
So yes,
Also, the airport here in Puerto Vallarta, basically, it's about 45 minutes for like the, I don't know, if you're in Punta de Mita, 45 minutes. If you're in
yes.
Miss Maloya, probably a little bit longer than that, but everything is so
Oh, so
close.
close.
And Puerto
Yeah.
Vallarta has all the services, banks,
Oh,
hospitals,
absolutely.
grocery stores. You have the airport, which is international airport. You can go anywhere, right? And the best part that Jalisco, Puerto Vallarta has is tequila. Yeah, yeah,
Margaritas.
margaritas,
Yes,
yes, yes.
yes.
The food in Puerto Vallarta, I like to talk about that
Okay.
because the food in Puerto Vallarta, it's great. It's
Yes.
one of the most
Flavorful.
flavorful cities, and you can find chefs from everywhere in the world, and you can find, I mean, all kind of food, Italian, Mediterranean,
Thailand.
Asian, yeah,
Yes,
anything.
anything.
And it's great. Puerto Vallarta is very competitive about
Yes.
food,
Food.
and you get kind of picky because when you go to another places, you're like, I don't like this food. I want to go back to PV. Yes, yes. I
You
used to,
can tell food
yeah.
is important to this
It
guy.
is very important. Yeah, yeah. I love the food here,
Yeah.
and that's probably one of the reasons I love Puerto Vallarta. When I come here, I like I told you, I didn't know much, but I find out about the people here. It's very friendly.
Oh, very
They're
friendly.
very
Yes.
friendly.
Everybody's welcoming. If they see you're lost, they're asking if they can help you. So yes, it's just a beautiful, wonderful, friendly, culturally beautiful, so colorful. People are so happy and just. I think because you're in the sun, it makes you happier. Does me.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
Yeah, I
the
think me.
beach and the
Yes.
sun
Yes.
and the food and the people. That's
Yes.
nice. Yes. So there you have it. Juanita's story. Thank you very much,
Thank
Tia
you for having
Juanita.
me.
It's
Thank you.
beautiful to find somebody like you that can share their stories,
Yeah.
right, and say, this is what Puerto Vallarta looks like. This is what happened to me in Puerto Vallarta and the whole Mexico experience, right?
Yeah.
And it seems that you're very in love with,
I love
right?
Mexico.
And
I
it,
love the Mexican people. I love the culture.
and it seems that you're
I
not
love
living
the
anywhere.
adventures.
It seems that you're not going to leave
Yeah,
Mexico.
yeah.
And we are very welcome everybody here.
Yeah.
That we welcome everybody to, not only Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
Oh,
I know
people are
you
wonderful
go anywhere
everywhere.
in Mexico
Yes.
and everybody's like welcome.
Yes.
We're not
So true.
we're not saying like no, don't come to my head place or my no. We love people.
Yes.
We love people, and
Yes. Yes.
probably our culture is that way. And we invite everybody to come down in PV.
Yes.
And if you need anything in Puerto Vallarta,
This is your
yes,
guy.
this is your guy.
Yeah.
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 Reach out me right there by email or my phone number, and if I can do something for you, and it's in my hands, I will do it.
Yep.
No hesitation. And
For
that's
sure.
about it. Thank
Yeah,
you
for
very
sure.
much, Tia Juanita.
Thank you. I love
It's always
you.
a pleasure.
Okay. You
Thank
too.
you. Bye bye.
Bye.